What's going on? It is the Bacon. Welcome back. This is the 2016 NFL mock draft. Um, Take 1,000 because there's been so many ridiculous trades. I did this video in 20 minutes and it was way too long last year. I'm going to try to do it in 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to go quick. But if you have any questions, I love fantasy and mock draft hype, so please send me questions. I'll respond immediately. Let's get to it. First overall pick, LA Rams select Jared Goff. He's a more polished player, and they believe that they're one quarterback away, one piece away from a championship. I don't know why, but they take Jared Goff. He can come in day one. Second overall pick, Philadelphia Eagles select Carson Wentz. I think it's better for they see upside, and it's better for the team if he sits and learns. Despite them spending like $40 million on quarterbacks this past off season with Bradford and Chase Daniel, but they take Wentz. Stupid decision. I feel bad for Philadelphia. Third overall, San Diego may want to go Tunzel because they desperately need offensive line help, but I think they replace Eric Weddle and get a solid corner, their best player available, best pick in the draft, Jalen Ramsey from Florida State. Dallas, fourth overall. I don't buy this Ezekiel Elliott bullshit. I think they don't value running backs as much as people think they did. If they did value them so much, they would make somewhat of an effort to retain DeMarco Murray when he led the league in rushing in his prime. But with their top offensive line in the league, they could take anyone. They had productivity with McFadden and Alfred Morris. No chance to take Ezekiel Elliott. They take DeForest Buckner, highest upside defensive end in the draft. Defensive line, he's versatile. After DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, and Greg Hardy, disasters. They desperately need a good character guy. Fifth overall pick, Jacksonville Jaguars select Miles Jack, linebacker from UCLA, the next Khalil Mack. They desperately need a guy like that to shore up their defense. No-brainer decision. The medical history and reports are bullshit. Sixth overall pick, Baltimore Ravens were praying for Tunzel. Left tackle Ole Miss, they got him. He's going to replace Eugene Monroe, who they want to kick out of that building. And they lost Assembly. They need to keep their franchise quarterback happy. Seventh overall pick, San Francisco, way too early to take a quarterback. I say they take Ronnie Stanley, right tackle. Ultimately, they'll switch him over to left, but I think right this year from Notre Dame. And they'll get the running game going with Carlos Hyde. Eighth overall pick, Cleveland. They need everybody. They'll probably continuously trade down, but they need a sure thing also. Joey Bosa is a sure thing. Not as high a ceiling as DeForest Buckner, but he's a great player with great technique. And I think he can maybe get some productivity out of Danny Shelton and Barkevius Mingo. Ninth overall pick, Tampa Bay. They need an edge rusher, but they take best player available, Vernon Hargreaves, cornerback from Florida. He's an absolute beast, and they desperately need cornerback help too. 10th overall, New York Giants run to the podium with Ezekiel Elliott, running back, Ohio State. Obviously, they're trying to build an absolute powerhouse right now. They spent $210 million in 4 days in free agency. No-brainer decision to take the most exciting player to rejuvenate that offense. 11th overall, Chicago, if they stay here, I think they go outside linebacker to pair up with someone with Pernell McPhee, and they take Lenny Floyd, outside linebacker from Georgia. Remember, Vic Fangio was in San Francisco when they reached for Alton Smith with the exact same frame, and they got a ton of productivity out of him. 12th overall, New Orleans can go a bunch of different directions. They can go corner, they can go wide receiver. They take Sheldon Rankins, defensive tackle, the next Aaron Donald from Louisville, best player available. 13th overall, Miami Dolphins, no-brainer decision. Jack Conklin, left tackle, Michigan State, to shore up that offensive line and keep Ryan Tannehill from getting sacked and killing himself. 14th overall, I don't care what anyone says, the right pick is for the Oakland Raiders to take Reggie Ragland, inside linebacker from Alabama, proven guy with a ton of grit and great football sense. He doesn't need to do too much because we have a ton of talent around him now. He is a thumper. He'll smack you in the mouth, and he's a knack for getting to the football. I love him. Tennessee Titans, they can go anywhere except for quarterback, edge rusher, and running back. I say they get Eli Apple, corner, Ohio State. Great guy, great character, excellent press man, and he has a lot of strength for a corner, and I think they need a guy that can make plays in the backfield. 16th overall, Detroit Lions. They need someone to replace Ndamukong Suh and Nick Fairley. I say they go Jaron Reed, nose tackle, Alabama, good size, and always is in the backfield. They can pitch a tent back there. 17th overall, Atlanta Falcons didn't know what they got with Vic Beasley last year, so they get his line mate and best friend from Clemson, and that is Shaq Lawson. 18th overall, Indianapolis can take interior lineman maybe, but I'd say they go with best player available, and that is Andrew Billings, the defensive tackle from Baylor, is an absolute freak. 19th overall, Buffalo Bills. They need an outside linebacker. They can't find one that Rex Ryan knows how valuable they are. He had a million of them going in New York. Manny Lawson's not great. Jerry Hughes was pretty good, but he plays defensive line. They need help. Darren Lee has excellent speed. 20th overall, New York Jets take Paxton Lynch. It's a quarterback-driven league. They don't have one, so they go grab him. 21st overall, Washington Redskins select A'Shawn Robinson, defensive tackle. Vicious, vicious player on that D-line. And he is Terrence Knighton, and Terrence Knighton they let walk because of his age. Perfect fit. 22nd overall, Houston Texans select Laquan Treadwell, wide receiver, Ole Miss. I'm sure they're tempted. They have no choice but to take a guy that fell to their lap to go with Nuck and Lamar Miller and Brock Osweiler. It could be a fun team to watch, or they can just shit the bed because they're Houston. 23rd overall, Minnesota. Sure wanted Laquan Treadwell because they need a possession receiver, but they can take the next man up, which is Josh Dogson, wide receiver from TCU. He's a red zone maniac. His one-handed catches, I've seen them, I had to throw up in a bucket. They're insane. He knows how to position his body against defenders. They have Stephon Diggs, and I'm sure they want to get the best out of Bridgewater and Adrian Peterson while he's still there. I think another offensive threat is exactly what they need. 24th overall, Cincinnati, wide receiver Will Fuller from Notre Dame. They need a guy to replace Mohamed Sanu and Marvin Jones. 25th overall, Pittsburgh Steelers for the first time since forever, being Rod Woodson. They take a corner. I say it is Will Jackson III from Houston, who has great size, and it just has a knack for getting to the football, very much like Vernon Hargreaves in terms of his football instincts, and Pittsburgh will make it easy because they're just going to rush the passer all the time, and hopefully he catches some pop flies. 26th overall, Seattle. I see them trading back because they never draft in the first round, but if they stick with the best player available, Taylor Decker, future left tackle from Ohio State. Huge guy. I think to get Thomas Rawls going for Russell Wilson, you can never have too many good offensive linemen, and they need some help on the left side. 27th overall, Green Bay. They believe the game is won and lost in the trenches. I say they go gamble. Vernon Butler, defensive tackle from Louisiana Tech. He is an absolute monster, but he plays D2. We don't know what they're getting, but he's the biggest player, not named Sean Oakman, but he's much better of a person, and he can really disrupt things for offensive lines. In a gritty NFC North, I think he's the pick. 28th overall, kill me, but Kansas City does a good job again, and they get Mackenzie Alexander, cornerback from Clemson, who his swag is on point. He's the most ridiculous wide receiver cornerback, although he doesn't have a single recorded interception. He's all over the football. He gets in your face. He talks trash. I love the guy, but now I'm going to hate him. And he's going to go with Marcus Peters, who they nailed it last year, unfortunately. 29th overall, Arizona. People have them taking a quarterback. I say they just wait for that later. They take Ryan Kelly, center from Alabama, to shore up that offensive line and help David Johnson. 30th overall, Carolina Panthers makes too much sense. Derrick Henry, running back, Alabama. He's an absolute beast. He runs people over. People that size should not run that fast. There was a picture that just came out with him and former Alabama alum running back Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram looked like a 7-year-old schoolgirl compared to Henry. Now, I know with this new press release about Josh Norman leaving, they might go corner. It's certainly possible, but I think Derrick Henry's too good to pass up, and they'll figure out a corner. They obviously don't think that they need one if they're willing to let Josh Norman go. I think they just address it in the later rounds. And the final pick, Denver Broncos, Connor Cook. The guy's apparently not a good leader, character issues, the only quarterback to have that many touchdowns, that many yards, and not be a team captain for 3 years in a row in college. We'll see how that turns out, but fuck you, Denver, anyways. It's the Bacon. Please send me some comments. I'll respond, and go Raiders.